Greetings, family. This is Professor Griff, and this is the Serious Minds Brain Tonic. The Serious Minds Brain Tonic was created to sharpen the mind by protecting the cells and increasing the neurotransmitters associated with learning and memory. You can order the Serious Minds Brain Tonic right here on www.debbiestrywellness.com and or text me 678-557-2919. Peace. All right, greetings, family. This is Professor Griff, and of course, you all already know this is Arm the Masses. Arm the Masses. Let me put some music behind this. Shout out to everyone that have that showed up to have this conversation on Monday. It was a very kind of critical conversation, but nonetheless, it was a conversation that needed to be had. In my opinion, a very necessary conversation, simply because if you are my age and if you're older, you got gray in your hair and your beard, under your arms and in your nostrils, then you've already lived through years and years and years of people selling us out to the white power structure. This is not the photographer that took pictures that was the undercover agent. This is not the one that stood in the ranks that gave mouth-to-mouth resuscitation to Malcolm. This is not the one that left the back door open for someone to come through to get assassinated. This is not the one that met in some undisclosed location with the people that wanted to murder unalive Fred Hampton Sr. All right, these are people that's right in our faces, but because they don't think much of black people, and in private and in their personal conversations, they disrespect black people, not thinking that we're anything. So now is the time. I think, I know, and I understand. Now is the time to call all of them out. Because we're not going to stop. All right. If something happens to Professor Griff, someone's going to come behind me and take this information and move it forward. So I want to thank everyone for coming on Monday and giving me your feedback. All right. It was really critical. And of course, we in the chat, in the comments, there's just some Negroes that just don't want to believe it. That don't want to believe that someone like Chuck D from Public Enemy, all that we've said and done, all the work that we put in to raise the consciousness level of our people into the mind of God. Every time we've sat with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, every time an FOI or the New Black Panther Party put their life on the line to protect us. All of the students that were in leadership position on college campuses that wanted to get us on the college campus to get in front of young people so that we can do the show and talk to young people. You mean to tell me you would go and sacrifice everything that they've done, all of their work, so you could snuggle up next to a white woman and get on the Breakfast Club and start talking about hip-hop is no longer a weapon for revolution or liberation? Now we have to start questioning, where does your loyalty lie? Now we have to start questioning all of your moves. So now then we got to go back. And we got to question all of your moves. So I'm going to do a check-in. I got some guests coming up that want to come on, but I want to do a check-in. Where are you checking in from? A lot of people just don't want to be known, recognized, whatever. That's a beautiful thing. I could do a whole 2 hours on surveillance and the things that they have in store to figure out who we are. I don't care if it's eye retina scans, facial recognition software. They can test a fart in the air and tell you what you had the last 10 times you ate breakfast. All right. So come on, family. I understand some of y'all got jobs y'all need to protect because you still got to pay the bills. I got you. But now we have to start questioning some of the information that we're seeing. Unless y'all just ignoring it Wait, let me get something right. I read a couple of comments and I just said to myself, well, what are we supposed to do? Just lay down and die? Or what's the adage? If you can't beat them, join them. So it seems like these old ass, tired ass rappers, they've given up. And I said on the show on Monday, the race is not to the swift, it's to he who can endure to the end. You know that in your marriage, you know that on your job, you know that in your business relationships. The race is not to the swift. You don't go a couple of months or a couple of years in a marriage and say you made it. No. So shame on those individuals that left those disparaging comments. Shame on some of y'all in these comments blaming it on hip hop. How the hell you gonna blame it on hip hop? I did a couple of thousand interviews. Myself, Black Dot, Red Pill, Blue Pill, Supernova Slum, Dr. Wesley Muhammad. I think I'm forgetting someone. Might have been D. Brad or someone. We zigzagged this country, laying this information out over the last 10, 15 years. Some of us wrote books about it. Hip Hop Decoded and the Black Dot's book dealing with urban culture. All right. I put 2 books together myself and thousands of interviews. All right. So for you to come along now, as I said on Monday, and you want to cripple young people by your tired old ass comment, like when Charlemagne the God asked you, basically, is hip hop a weapon or a tool that we could use for revolution? You're like, no. We have gadgets. Wow. Let me find it. Hold on.
Everybody got a gadget.
Is hip hop still the best weapon for revolution?
No. Everybody got a gadget. From your grandmother to the child being born. Something better come through that. We don't know what that is. Remember I said hip hop was covert.
Oh, nigga, we do know what that is. Something better come through the gadget. As I said in my comment under the clip, if you have outlived your usefulness, then say that. But don't cripple the next generation with your tired ass view of the revolution. Neither one of you have been in this sonic revolution in a long time. Be honest with me, fam. Hold on. Be honest with me. Up until a few months ago, how many of y'all really knew who Ibrahim Traore was? Raise your hand. Seriously, be honest though. What do you mean something better come through that? So years and years ago when we was listening to R&B, we was listening to soul, we was listening to blues, we was listening to reggae, and people like you were thinking like you, old ass, tired ass motherfuckers were thinking like you, and you said something better come out of what these young people doing in the park, and something did come up out of it, a degree of consciousness. Everything that we went through, something came up out of it. All the struggles and trials and tribulations that the consciousness movement, Black Power movement, have been through over the years, something has came out of it. Some people paid the price, and we cannot forget them. our brothers and sisters languishing away in prison, and all the fuck your tired ass, old ass got to say is that we got gadgets? Wow. Not only is it disrespectful for him to say that, it's insensitive. People are serving life sentences, man. Mumia is in jail for life, man. People have lost their lives. So for people to look up to this Chuck D character and listening to him say that, well, what hope do they have? You don't send these young people right back in the streets to wild the fuck out because they got gadgets? You make no goddamn sense, bro. You make no sense. Someone said, we didn't know Ibrahim Traore up until a minute ago. But you didn't see it coming now, did you? And because of the gadgets, now we know Ibrahim Traore and what is he setting in motion in all of the Sahel states or countries, pardon me. All right? Nigeria, Mali, Burkina Faso, now Chad. Tanzania is on the horizon. And a few other places. I want to say Guinea. All right? But we don't need tired ass Negroes like this. Him and his sidekick Flunky. We don't need that right now. What we need is a mind revolution, something that we set in motion years and years and years ago. So for this old tired ass, crusty ass motherfucker to come along and basically say that, yeah, well, I don't know, we got gadgets. So, but because we got gadgets, I don't know, hip hop is now the weapon to use for revolution or liberation. Nigga, brush your motherfucking teeth and change your crusty ass motherfucking underwear and sit your motherfucking ass down some goddamn where. Fucking imp. And then, let me see. Let me see. Then his crusty ass sidekick. Matter of fact, let me put this over here so y'all can see this. I gotta take this out of here because hold on for a second, fam. I want y'all to get the full experience on what the hell is happening. All right. Let me turn this around. Because I want you to see this image. I want you to see Flavor Flav at Lotto's. It says in Atlanta, Georgia, Lotto hosts Hoes Down, Pimps Up birthday affair with Flavor Flav. All right. Flavor Flav came dressed as a pimp. Flavor Flav came dressed as a pimp. We talking about from Public Enemy to digital pimping. Wow, bro. So you a pimp now, Flavor? From Public Enemy to this? Come on, family. Come on, family. You know, sometimes it hurts us to even see that, but some of y'all right now are saying, well, that's been Flavor, man. Flavor's always been, but so that gives him an excuse? Because you're a clown, you're a jokester? That gives you an excuse. We shouldn't hold his feet to the fire? Nope. Let me try something fly like that. Or crazy to the left like that. Y'all would hold my feet to the fire? So I'm held accountable. You're held accountable. But Flavor Flav from Public Enemy is not held accountable. Come on, man. I think that's truly, truly sad. It really, 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 really is. So some people, but because I don't know how should I say it? We still operating, trying to understand 140 characters that's supposed to define aspects of our life. Can't get past Twitter. This dude comes on and he uses slick terminology. Screenagers. Okay. And so what are you saying? It says Chuck D explains why hip hop is no longer a tool for revolution. In that, he says Public Enemy, in that article, it says Public Enemy frontman Chuck D and rap pioneer Kurtis Blow were recent guests on The Breakfast Club, where Chuck expressed that hip hop is no longer an effective tool for revolution. Everybody's got a gadget, from your grandmother to your child being born. Family, do me a favor, please. Help me make sense of that. Help me make sense of that, family. Can somebody please help me make sense of that? Help me make sense of that. All right, so hopefully these are my guests coming on. Mr. Server, peace, man.
Peace was good, brother.
All right, we got Paradise Gray.
Yeah, Paradise. I sent him the link, but you know he's on the phone thing. You know, trying to navigate that. If you can send the link to his phone instead of the email, that'll work better to him. So you send him the email.
I'm not even that tech savvy, because
right,
on StreamYard,
I was trying to do the same thing, but it kept going to email, so I don't know how to do that either.
Yeah. Well, someone's got to navigate that for him. So just to bring you up to speed, Server, over the last 48 hours, I've received everything from subtle, you're envious, you're jealous. I received praise. I received, oh wow, for real, I didn't know Chuck was like that. I received, oh man, cut him some slack. He's older now. And I received the majority of comments was literally bashing hip hop.
Wow.
And I was taken aback. The same vehicle that set our minds free, that created careers not only for us, but for all of them other people, that set the world, the globe on fire. Hip hop is everywhere, in colleges, in universities. They're making cartoons and all kind of stuff. It's on sports teams and commercials and theme songs and sitcoms and movies and this kind of thing. So if everyone else can use hip hop to do that, we can't use hip hop to reach a young Ibrahim Traore in Burkina Faso.
Yeah, that's crazy, because I mean, and even taking a step further, you know, we just had the 19th annual Trinity International Hip Hop Festival up in Hartford, Connecticut at Trinity College. And when you look outside of the USA, you know, the work that's being done politically is way stronger than the work that's being done here. So again, in the US, we tend to minimize hip hop just talking about rap music. But when you look at the things that are happening, you know, Ibrahim Traore is only 37 years old. So there's no doubt that he's been influenced by the political conscious rap music of the culture here that's going on. There's no doubt about that. You know, when you look at Senegal over in Dakar, there's a documentary called Democracy in Dakar. You know, if you look at what's happening over in Ghana, Bobby Wine, hip hop, you know, according to the United Nations, they have 8 global goals that they want to reach around the world. According to the representative for the United Nations, they will not be able to achieve their goals without coming through hip hop culture. So I don't know what Chuck was talking about.
So you mean to tell me, let me understand this from the perspective of, how about when Barack Obama was running for president of the United States of America? Hip hop didn't have anything to do with that? Come on, man. Young,
You know
understand
what? He used that to his. He definitely used it to his advantage, and yet we got nothing for that. But he definitely used it to his advantage for sure.
Every year, rappers and hip hop heads are invited to be a part of the political machine, whether it's Democrat or Republican. I always say it's just two wings of the same damn bird. But if you can remember, now help me out with this, bro.
Right.
I'm gonna need your help with this. Chuck D, I'm not sure what year it was, invited Bernie Sanders to come on stage, and all of them sang, they had a kumbaya moment and sang "Fight the Power." All right. Now, what was that about? Public Enemy ain't never been political like that. We never took sides. We always educated our people. But now all of a sudden, you get a job at the State Department. They've been working on you, and now they're paying you. You on the salary. You on the payroll, working for the White House. Now all of a sudden, Bernie Sanders is on your radar. Bernie Sanders is on stage. No grift. All right? No militant talk. No revolutionary talk. But white-ass Bernie Sanders came with an agenda. And you singing Fight the Power, and at the same time, Flavor protested it, and they kicked Flavor out of the group with a signed letter. Terminator X gone. Professor Griff gone. Now you kick Flavor out, you bring Bernie Sanders in, and you got a kumbaya moment singing Fight the Power. Then Flavor turns around and responds and tries to open up a chicken joint. You heard what I said. I didn't stutter. Fucking chicken joint. And guess what the theme song was? Bite the Foul.
What?
Bite the Foul. But go look it up.
Wow. Wow. I did not know that. That's crazy.
At all of the restaurants you can open up, yo dumbass open up a fucking chicken joint. Wow. Have we not learned anything?
You know, I think, one of the things that we have to deal with, I always talk about us as the elders. And I think we have to take our place as the elders. And sometimes people are going to agree, people are going to disagree. But if we're standing on truth and we stand on principles, it's not about being popular. I tell you in Paradise all the time, it's like you all have to deal with it from a different lens because of the entertainment side. Whereas though me, I don't have anything to gain from this except using this as a tool to enrich myself, my children, and my children's children and community. You know what I'm saying? This is not a play thing for me. I tell people I didn't ask for the national or international spotlight. According to KRS, God told him this, that, and the other, and that's how I got involved with it. So I stay true on the spiritual, cultural, educational, political side of hip hop. And I'm not trying to be popular. I'm trying to save my babies.
Wow, man. That's a very critical point. You trying to save your babies, and obviously hip hop can do that. So then you remember this? You remember when Flav sang the national anthem? We go from Fight the Power. We go from Fight the Power to you putting your hand over your heart, singing the fucking national nigga. What the fuck?
Treat last night.
But Flav been out for a long time, man.
They got a big treat last night because Flavor Flav sang the national anthem at the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Atlanta Hawks game. Now I'm gonna say this: Flavor Flav didn't rap; he sang. I'm gonna say it one more time. Flavor Flav, he did not rap; he sang. And bless Flav's heart. Take a look.
The birds staying there gave proof to the night.
Laughing, yo. And they're not laughing with him.
Nah, bro, we're not doing that. Public Enemy to that. Public Enemy to pimping. Public Enemy to waiting or working for the State Department. You two niggas got to be out your goddamn minds, man.
Hey, man, sad to say, I'm not surprised at all, from a strange love to now, Flavor's been, doing what he's trying to do to survive. I'm more surprised at Chuck, to be honest. I'm not surprised at Flav at all, but I'm genuinely surprised that Chuck is taking a stand. He's been moving more centrist for a long time, but now he seems to be on the right side. Like he seems to be on the, you know, the right side of the barricade as far as politically. You know what I'm saying? He's not even a leftist centrist anymore. He's more of a right centrist. So, you know, again, this is not about personalities. This is really about the culture. And I know sometimes, you know, people think because of the personalities, you know, they kind of get caught up in who they like and who they don't like. Well, I keep emphasizing each other accountable on principle. It can't be personal. It has to be principle based. If we're talking about this culture, again, when we went to the United Nations in 2001, 25 years ago,
Right.
you know, it's because hip hop is a revolutionary tool. The UN, when we went there, the ironic part about it, we went to the UN, they were like, "What took y'all so long? Hip hop is a culture." You know what I'm saying? So we're still running a line, even with the hip hop piece. A lot of people that are on the post, you know, the Tuckers on the poster, if they don't take those principles seriously enough, then we end up falling into just the entertainment realm, and we know the corporations control the entertainment for the most part. So we got to be principled and stand up to even our brothers and sisters. And again, if we're criticizing anyone in a critical way, it's again to better the culture. And all of us are open. I tell people all the time, if you hear me say something that's wrong or out of order, call me to account. That's why my name is Server. I'm here to be of service for real. This is not a play thing. This is not a popularity contest. We are at war for real. Hip hop is one of the most revolutionary tools that we've ever had. Like I said, when you look at the people that are Ras Baraka, the mayor of Newark, who's running for governor right now, he convened the first National Hip Hop Political Convention in 2004 in Newark, New Jersey. So, you know, again, 20 years later, now we're not a tool for revolution. No, we should be more of a tool for revolution right now. If we, the 45 and older, do this to do. That's what the key is right now. And Chuck, you know, being my elder, is not unreasonable. We look to the elders for advice. When the elders are not correct, we have to hold them accountable as well. And that's where we are right now.
Right. So these are the kind of comments that I've been getting either on my phone or up under the clip. All right. This gentleman said CEO Jamar 120.3. I don't know what that is. He says the question Charlemagne asked was, is hip hop still the best, and best in capital letters, best tool? Based on the question and the response from Chuck, this accusation is invalid. What do you think about that?
Nah, I disagree totally, because again, if you watch the whole interview, I mean, even just take that even if you take that question out, you know, when you see the interview, Chuck was all over the place in a number of ways. To me, Kurtis Blow didn't get enough time, you know, to really go into detail about the Hip Hop Alliance. So, you know, again, Charlemagne even asking that question on the Breakfast Club, you know, it was almost like an alley-oop for Chuck. You know what I'm saying? But he did a Charles Smith and, you know, missed it 3 times at the rim and shit. You know, for those who basketball reference, big up to the Knicks fan.
Chuck said so yeah.
Yeah, so you know, again, and I would have liked, you know, Charlemagne, you know, they don't ask enough follow-up questions in detail. Again, they more of a gossip kind of show that they don't really get into the details. So they're only there for the real, you know, sensational type of thing. But I'm waiting for the next conversation with Chuck and Kurtis and KRS and all of us that are, you know, sincerely interested in using this hip hop culture to not only further ourselves, but again, for me, it's really about our children and our children's children. Most of us can say that hip hop saved and the whole nine. And yet, if we're not setting up the next generation for that, the artists, you know, the practitioners, you know, the politicians, the teachers, if we're not showing them through real life experiences and principles how hip hop is a revolutionary tool, then that's where the conversation should begin, or continue, I should say, because the conversation has been on for the last 20 some odd years.
Okay, let's just say that was the question. Let's just say we overlooked the fact that, is it the best tool? So then if Charlemagne the God asked the question, is hip hop the best tool? Based on the response Chuck gave, this person is saying Chuck might have been right. So then if hip hop is not the best tool, let me ask this individual something, and let me ask the audience something. What is the best tool?
Exactly.
What is the best tool?
I mean, especially again, if you talk about hip hop beyond entertainment, what other like there's no way that all of humanity is a part of this movement that we call hip hop without being revolutionary. Just in itself, that all of humanity is, according to the United Nations, this is not my opinion, according to the United Nations, everywhere the human beings on the planet Earth, they're practicing some form of hip hop culture because it gives them a chance of self-expression outside of any systems that they're being a part of. They can sidestep those systems through this culture. This is according to the United Nations. So how can it not be revolutionary?
Right, exactly. So according to that individual, Chuck never really answered the question because he took a sip of water and was basically like, we have gadgets. So I want to ask this character that sent that message, like, what does that mean? We have gadgets. Explain that. Explain that. So if what you're saying, we're saying, is not really founded, because I saw the entire interview, and it's like they gave nothing. They gave nothing to young people. No hope, no inspiration, no encouragement, nothing. You understand what I'm saying?
Well, but even if he was talking about the gadgets, he has an online radio station. So you need the gadgets for that as well. So again, I'm just not really clear of what he meant by we have gadgets. I'm just that just threw me off. I don't know what he meant by that.
Yeah, I think he talks in code, and I think he talks in code because he worked for them people. I'm gonna be honest with you, I couldn't get through 10 minutes of that and understand what he was saying. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm not intelligent enough. Maybe I'm too close to the situation. But can somebody tell me what the fuck he was talking about? What? Give me one thing that made sense.
Yeah, I would like to hear that as well. I would like to hear that as well. You know, and I was talking to Paradise because you know, for those that don't know, me, Griff, and Paradise are actively, the God Squad, three the God way, because of the entity that we represent. And it's really interesting when you talk about, Public Enemy, Boogie Down Productions, X Clan, Triple Hip Hop, those type of entities that, again, those entities are supposed to exist beyond personalities. It's not about any of our personalities. It's about, like we talked about before, Public Enemy talking about 5,000 leaders around the world. X started with a black. The pop came out of the stop violence movement. So all these are movements that are beyond personalities that people see. And that was one of the reasons why I started working with KRS, because we have somebody that's not a celebrity, myself, that can help to lead the movement, because most of the people that are involved in hip hop are not entertainers. They're not celebrities. They're regular brothers and sisters trying to find ways to improve their lives. And that's what hip hop gives us. It gives us an opportunity to recreate ourselves in the spirit of Kuji Chagalia, self-determination. So we're taking the things that we already have that have been there, and we're remixing those to benefit ourselves and our children, our children's children. As the hip hop declaration is about the foundation of love, awareness, wealth, peace, and prosperity for ourselves and our children's children forever. That's what those principles are for. So anybody that's not talking in that, you're pretty much speaking the line of the corporations who all they want to do is exploit and take. They're not adding anything to us. They're taking. What are they adding to us in our lives? Particularly when we talk about our young people, the way that they weaponize rap music and aimed it against them. If we as the elders that know better don't, at the very least, offer a different narrative, then what hip hop was, what it is, and what it will be determined by our enemies in the corporation. And we ain't going out like that.
Right, exactly. So if we were to look at all of the international and global MCs, you've met some, I've met some. Hip hop is in several languages now, right? Hip hop is in books now. Hip hop is in curriculum now. So you mean to tell me to hear a young Palestinian speaking on what he's going through over them turning over a garbage can and beating on the bottom of a garbage can so he can spit lyrics over it through his gadget to the rest of the world, That's not revolution. That's revolution as a month. You understand? That's revolutionary like a motherfucker. Bro.
No doubt. No doubt.
So
No
come
doubt.
on, man.
No doubt.
How could you look at that and say, yeah, nah, we got gadgets. Yeah, my grandmother got a gadget. What are you saying? It's a beautiful thing that your grandmother got a gadget, because now she knows that young Palestinian brother is. She knows that young South African brother.
Right.
Because now we can see Julius
Right.
Malema on our gadgets and we get it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, yes, definitely.
So,
Definitely.
so my
And
thing
you
is,
know, that's now go ahead.
no, go. I'm listening.
No, you know, and you know that's an excellent point that you make, because hip hop is multi-generational at this point. You know, being the dopest hip hop grandpop, I represent the grandpops in hip hop. You know, so we got grandmoms and grandpops in hip hop, and again, you know, we're learning things as well through these gadgets. You know what I'm saying? You know, a lot of the people that are older, if it wasn't for, you know, social media things, they wouldn't be things that are going on. So again, I'm just not clear what Chuck meant when he said we got gadgets. I'm just perplexed by that statement. The gadgets can be used as a tool for revolution for sure. I just don't. I'm not clear on that. I think part of his answer was just kind of coded corporation wise, because he was on the Breakfast Club. I don't know whether he felt like he couldn't say what it is or whatever. I don't really know. I don't want to speculate. But what I do know is that those of us that see ourselves as keepers of the culture, you know what I'm saying? Keepers of the culture. That's who we are. Keepers of the culture. And anyone that disagrees, we can have a conversation about that. You know what I'm saying? Because I think collectively we've done enough work that we can earn that ride with those titles of keepers of the culture. You and Paradise, myself, and many others, Black Dot, as you say, you know, there are many others that are out doing this work, because it really has saved our lives. It really has transformed our lives. And at the very least, we want our next generations to have an opportunity to be empowered through this culture as well. And no adult should ever take that away from our young people, because the energy of hip hop culture is always going to be youth oriented, which is what our enemy are aiming at us old dudes. They're aiming at our children, our children's children. They could care less about us.
Right. So my thing is, if I had a conversation, a brief conversation with a young woman, I think she was she may have been Iran, Iran, and she was living in a different part of America. She didn't want to say yada yada yada, and she was going on to say her traditional songs that's in the culture that she grew up in will not afford her the freedom to speak up and speak out, because those songs cannot be changed. They're traditional songs. Hip hop allowed her the freedom to express herself and even include tones and frequency and vibrations from her culture. So she can now turn around and incorporate that into hip hop and now reach the young people in her culture and outside of her culture. That was beautifully said and beautifully done, sis. You understand what I'm saying?
No doubt.
Look, that's
and you know, I would
an example of using hip hop as a tool. And that's to build on your point. It's larger than just me, you, Chuck, Public Enemy, X-Clan. You understand what I'm saying? Boogie Down Production is global now.
Right, exactly. So, you know, again, I would encourage people, particularly those in the U.S., I would encourage you to look outside the street when it comes to hip hop, particularly culture-wise. Again, there's some revolutionary things that are being done politically in Senegal, like I said, over in Palestine. You have the group DAM, who have been, they call them the public enemy of the Middle East. You see what I'm saying? Exactly. So again, Public Enemy's imprint. There's a group out of Senegal called KG. They call them the Public Enemy of Senegal. So again, you know, Public Enemy is looked upon, and it's not unreasonable that they're looked upon for leadership because of all of the work that has been done by Public Enemy as an institution. That's not surprising. Now, what is surprising is that when you listen to some of the songs, like not just fight the power. But if you listen to Black Steel and Our Chaos, and some of the real hardcore songs, people are props and raised. Exactly. People are being politically educated through these songs, so it's not unreasonable that they would expect, those that are part of that type of movement to speak in a more bold way, particularly when it comes to the world, because right now we see that the Africans around the world are stepping up and being bold, and they will tell you, part of that, if you talk to people from the continent that are involved in hip-hop, they will tell you the direct inspiration that they get from us in hip-hop. Black people in America are inspiring other people around the world. You know what I'm saying? And if we don't continue to champion that, again, we give it up to the corporations. And again, the corporations don't care about that kind of stuff. That doesn't mean anything to them, because you can't quantify a whole dollar value on a person's influence. Like, you can't quantify a person that's over in Uganda right now that are watching this clip right now and will go back and listen to some Public Enemy stuff and go back and listen to some X-Clan and Boogie Down Productions and MC Live, whatever the case. You can't quantify that, because that's something that is spiritual and cultural more than anything else. And that's what hip hop is at its essence. We talk about higher infinite powers healing our people. It's not just a rap thing. I believe, and I don't, bite my tongue. Hip hop is a gift to us from the Creator and the ancestors to deal with our open enemies again. And if we, that 45 and older, don't figure it out, then it's going to be our children that suffer from that. So we will continue to have these conversations respectfully with each other, but forcefully and boldly and unapologetically, because this is not a game.
Right. So do you think someone can work at the State Department as a global ambassador and still be, come on, help me out, bro.
Only if they come in with a spook us out by the door mindset. You know what I'm saying? Meaning that only if they come there. Now, I'm only coming here to get these information back to my. If they don't come with that mindset, they're going to talk like everyone else. They're going to use you to further the imperialist warmongering agenda that this empire has. And we got to be real that this is a falling empire. So it's not surprising that they're trying to reach as many of us as possible, because they know the influence that we have. So if they can call off us, then they can last a little bit longer as an empire. But this is a falling empire. We are global citizens. As the Hip Hop Declaration of Peace talks about, hip hop is an international culture of peace and prosperity. That's according to the United Nations. And again, if we don't believe that, then people can believe whatever we want. But we got principles, we got documents that we can further ourselves beyond entertainment, beyond personalities. Again, principles over personality. I'm gonna keep emphasizing that. I know people tired of hearing me say that, but you better get used to it, because I'm gonna be hammering that forever. Principles over personality. Word up.
Right. So this article says Chuck D. All right. It goes on to say, not really fighting the power. Chuck D is arguably the most famous political rapper of all time. That first line is a punch in the chest, bro. Real. He rattled the music industry as the voice of Public Enemy and solidified himself as a genre legend in the process. Chuck D is a name that's synonymous with rebellion and let me stop laughing. Let me finish this. Individuality, which is why his recent decision has drawn so much criticism. The rapper partnered with the State Department and President Joe Biden to serve as a global music ambassador. It's a title that sounds good on paper, but setting off alarm bells for hip hop fans. Well, what are you going to do, Chuck? He's basically going to go and set up this front organization for the CIA to come in to cut the knees out from under young revolutionary radicals and rebels in foreign countries on a global scale. You're selling our people out and young people out throughout the globe, man. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, so that's like icon, the Africana hip hop type shit.
Exactly. He is now the Michael Langley. You understand what I'm saying? He's trying to bridge cultural divides and inspiring positive change has been a part of my life's work, he said, he claimed. And it's a responsibility I don't take lightly. Being a global music ambassador is an opportunity to use my voice and music to inspire everyone, nigga. So if you're going to use your voice and your music, how the fuck are you telling young people we can't use hip hop as a revolutionary tool? Man, sit your ass down, bro. Sit your old tired ass down. That's all the fuck I gotta say. Yeah, come on, man.
Man, listen, man. I'm you know, I wish Paradise could have gotten that. He's in New York at the college, you know, so some technical issues. But Paradise had a whole conversation, and he sounded just like you. You know what I'm saying? He's really not happy that Chuck would say something like, young, we know work that we do is not about us anymore. We've had years to be in this culture, and like a lot of us have benefited from this culture. So it's those of us that see ourselves as leaders. It's always about the next generation. So again, Paradise, even though he wasn't able to come on a date, speaking for not only for himself but as a chief curator for the Hip Hop Museum, as a One Hood out of Pittsburgh, Black Watch, he works with a number of different organizations that are revolutionary in nature. So he was like, what the fuck Chuck mean by that? And I was like, that's the same thing Griff was talking about. We don't understand why Chuck would even go on Breakfast Club of all places, where again, their audience is like 35 and under, if I'm not mistaken, most of their biggest audience. So these are young people that, if they haven't had people that can tell them the difference between rap music genre or hip hop music as a genre and hip hop music as a culture, then that's what we're supposed to, at the very least, give them the information. They're going to do what they do with the information. But again, if we don't talk to them from the cultural lens, then all they hear about hip hop is from the corporation end. And all they will hear about is rap music, which, while if you go back to the Hip Hop 50, most of the things that you saw on television, at least, were dealing with rap music. Now, you have places like Atlanta that did a lot of things that were beyond rap. But a lot of places that in the mainstream, they really focus on rap music, and rap hasn't even been around for 50 years yet. So that's a whole nother conversation,
Right, so let me say this as we get out of here. So let's just pause for a second. If we don't use hip hop as a revolutionary tool, right, through the gadgets, what are we supposed to do? Daniel, can you do me a favor? Oh man, no, I'm freezing, bro. Yeah. What are we supposed to use it for?
Great question. Great question. I would love Chuck to answer that question. And I'm sure some of Chuck's people are seeing some of the comments. So hopefully you'll answer some of these questions that he don't take it personal, that he's too upset to answer the question or whatever the case is. But these are real questions that deserve to be answered publicly, not behind the curtain. Now, we have a lot of conversations behind the curtain, but this is a public conversation. That's why I came on yesterday, Monday, and today, because these are public conversations. I normally do a lot of things behind the scenes, but sometimes we have to pop out and show them, as my man Kendrick said. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we got to pop out. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. So
for sure.
All right, until we circle around again and get Wise Intelligent on here, get
yeah, we definitely Wise on here.
Get Stickman on here. Get all of these people on here that fought Blair and established conscious thing. You understand? Find Sister Soldier wherever she at. Now Ruby Ceylon, Soleil, Rock, whoever else we gotta find. You understand what I'm saying? Because this conversation needs to be happening. All right.
Yeah, and you're big up to the people that have reached out to me to get a copy of the Hip Hop Declaration of Peace. Again, you can reach me at ministerserver@gmail.com. I will send you the poster copy of the original poster of the Hip Hop Declaration of Peace, along with the PDF. We have it in 10 different languages. We are international culture. If you're hip hop beyond, me up. That's my lane. Hip hop beyond entertainment. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. So listen, can you hold on for a second? I got something to do that I want you to see. Is that cool?
Yes, sir.
Is that all right? Hold on. Hold on. I'm trying to get this thing right. All right, family. I got to do something I want everybody to see. This really means a lot to me. Hold on. No, I'm not going to propose. No. All right. So I'm one of those kind of individuals, security minded and that kind of thing. I need everybody to just chill for a second. Just press the pause button. So I'm one of those kind of security minded individuals, right? So we set up, me and my wife set up this thing where we know what mail is coming to us and who's it coming for. We don't want no packages. We don't want no, because I don't know what them people are going to send. You understand what I'm saying? But there's a package that came through, right? So the package that came through, I didn't know what it was. So, you know, me, I take my knife out, yada, 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 whoop, whoop, I'm cutting it open, right? I open it up, and this is what was in it. It was a black box. And on the black box, right, it says The Hero's Journey, limited edition. I need y'all to pay attention real quick. So when I opened it, it did this. All right.
Peace, Professor Griff, my brother, and I mean that. I don't just say that. You are my brother, and you were the first one to come and recognize my body of work and put me in front of audiences because my message needed to be heard. And I want to say I will never, ever forget that. I will never forget you taking pay cuts to make sure I had some money in my pocket. I will never forget you blocking people off who wanted to knock my block off for some of the things that I was saying and all the protection you provided. You are a beautiful soul. And when people really get to know who you are, it is an amazing thing and it's an amazing treat. And I'm honored to say that I know you personally. Shout out to the Queen, Soleil. Shout out to your children, your grandchildren, and everyone in your midst. As you are truly the minister of information, but you also the minister of love. You're also the minister of protection and all of those beautiful things. So Enclosed is my story. It's my book, my brother. You gotta laugh to keep it fine. It's the full story. And I wrote it in hopes that brothers like yourself and others can get to know who I am, what my struggles were, what my hero's journey was really all about. So Enclosed is that copy. I want to let you know that I love you to life, and I'm forever by your side. If you ever need me for anything, you call me, my brother. Peace.
That was Black Dot. That meant so much to me and my wife yesterday when we opened this up. And this is how it came. So Black Dot, this is your brother, Professor Griff. You don't realize what you've done for me. I told you and I told the world, I sat on a bus in Japan and watched Flavor Flav trick off a couple of $1,000s while the rest of us was broke on the bus while he went shopping. This is the kind of madness that I had endured. But I guess it was meant for a reason, because while I spent those hours on the bus while Flavor went shopping in Japanese malls, I was able to watch hours and hours and hours of Black Dot's work. Came back to America, found him, hooked up with him, and we did a beautiful work together. So Black Dot, I love you to life. As always, I'm going to read your book line for line, word for word, line for line. This is Black Dot's book, The Hero's Journey. Gotta laugh to keep from crying. So yeah, love you, Black Dot. Love your family, your wife, your children. Keep doing what you're doing. And as always, bro, I will continue to pave the way for you. Continue to speak your word into the ether so that everyone will hear it. You understand what I'm saying? When I first started lecturing again, it was Black Dot's work that served as the foundation. I would not have had these two books if it wasn't for Black Dot. Especially this one, The Psychological Covert War on Hip Hop. Watching Black Dot and seeing what Black Dot did for the culture. You understand what I'm saying? So I love you, good bro. And brothers, we have to get beyond this stigma that they put on us. We have to start loving one another. We have to start doing things like this. And Black Dot was correct. I used to pave the way for anybody that was rolling with me, Dr. Wesley Muhammad, Red Pill, Blue Pill, anybody. You understand what I'm saying? But Black Dot was one of those individuals. I said, look, let's go. Let's zigzag, crisscross this country and put this information out here about hip hop. So I love you to life, good bro. And thank you very much for the gift. And I am going to read your book. Thank you, server, for holding on, bro. That means a lot to me, man. For real. All right. Thank you, everybody that stayed on to hear that, to see that from our good brother Black Dot. Make sure y'all look up his book. All right. And make sure y'all support the brother. Really appreciate y'all. All right. That's the kind of stuff to bring you to tears, man, for real. To know that, you know, we're doing a work that really impacts people's lives. Can you imagine the people that we don't know that hip hop has impacted their lives, that'll never get a chance to get in contact with me or you or whomever? Yeah, we have to be careful of our words, man. We have to be careful of what we put out there on the Breakfast Club and the Lunch Club and the Dinner Club and the rest of them places. Because young people, not only in America, but in Africa, are listening and they're watching. So once again, love you to life, Black Dot. Thank you very much. There's some loyal people on here, man, that come on every single Monday and Wednesday, man. You know, they don't have to tune in to Professor Griff. I know some of them send me and say, Griff, you curse too much. I try to watch this with my daughter, man, but you be like, well, English is my third language. I don't know this language. You understand what I'm saying? Universe speaks in frequency, not English. And then prior to that, after that, then my original tongue coming out of the continent, our Kabulan. You understand what I'm saying? That was my second language. And my third language, after they dragged me and my people to America to meet some of my other people who are already here, they beat my language out of me. So stop playing. Fuck the English language. Anyway, this Professor Griff. Any last words, server? All right. Servers in silence. Anyway, I love you all to life. This is Professor Griff. I got to get out of here. Love you to life, Black Dot. All right, peace, y'all. That's the kind of impact that hip hop has. That's the kind of information. That's the kind of information that hip hop and influence that hip hop can have on you. When you love to that degree. All right. All right, family. Peace.